Saturday the what? Saturday the 15th. It's been a week now since the bombing and the assault on Palestinians in Quds and West Bank, and now extended to inside Israel. Minority Palestinian there been lynching in the streets, bombing and killing and destroying high-rising and towers and building in Gaza that Israel turned it to a Guantanamo, controlling the water, the air, electricity, the food, medication, suffocating the 2 million Palestinians in Gaza, and successfully convinced the world that they are the victim of terrorist Hamas, and victim of rough neighborhood, and I don't know what the rough neighborhood is. Arab Zionists now, they are more, yeah, and more support to Israel in the area now than any time in the history, from Sisi to bin Salman to bin Zayed to bin Kalb. All these Arab Zionists now are a tool of the Zionist propaganda. Anyway, but interesting to see the media and how the media is covering this savage attack on the Palestinians that started more than 70 years ago of occupation and beheading a nation, replacing it by a white European settler that were escaping European Holocaust and anti-Semitism, and the Palestinian and the Arabs are paying the price. With the support of the American, I don't think it would have, that would have been happened. More than almost $4 billion a year support to Israel, military and economy and political coverage, international community. And the two major foreign policy decisions that Uncle Biden made so far is saving mass murder in Saudi Arabia and killing Khashoggi and others, and also now he's saving a mass murder in Tel Aviv in Israel, Netanyahu and the apartheid racist regime of Zionism. And the media is playing it alone, presenting this as a conflict, clashes between Hamas, militant, terrorists, and Israelis forces. And, to be honest with you, Hamas is the best things happened to the Zionist project. And actually it was supported and created by the Zionist project to justify their militarization, and vice versa too, the Zionist project and military establishment in Israel and the Zionist apartheid Israel is the best things happen to Hamas to justify their oppressive control of Gaza. So who's paying the price? The average Palestinian that lives like in Guantanamo in Gaza and under the control now of the Palestinian Fatah, that it used to be the resistance movement in the 50s, and the 60s, and even 70s and 80s. Now it is a tool of the Zionist project to control the population in West Bank under the leadership of the most incompetent, idiotic Arab leader, Abbas. So Arab Zionists and Zionist media and the narrative of Israel is the only democracy and small state that built a utopia and only democracy in a rough neighborhood. This narrative has been tested, and the problem now, terrorism mostly now committed by elected official and head of states with billions of dollar budget. That is the difference now. We're gonna have a guest today to talk a little bit about the support of Palestinian in America, Tom Shoemaker, and his activists, and he will be with us very shortly. In the meantime, let's look at the bombing of the towers and buildings in Gaza, and especially the one that hosted the media. Video is fine. Where are you now?
I'm at home in my family room slash work from home office.
So where is home?
Home is in Englewood, Ohio, which is a suburb of northwest Dayton, Ohio.
Well, it's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. Well, thanks for giving us some time. And I've been looking for any groups and any activity that supporting or at least being neutral and telling the story of what's happening in Gaza and West Bank and Israel and all in America. And I haven't found really somebody or somebody is willing to come and talk to us. And you were kind enough to say, well, I'll come and talk a little bit about your organization and what you've been doing. I know you before this, and I know you've been supporting the Palestinian cause for a long, long time. And I also know that you are wearing keffiyeh of the Palestinian, and that is very dangerous symbol here in this country. You could be kicked out of an airplane or a supermarket or been arrested for wearing this keffiyeh. So, oh my goodness, and a boycott Israel. You are going for it. So, welcome to the show, Tom. Tell us a little bit about your support of the Palestinian, your organization, and what your relationship with them, and how did all this start?
Well, first off, Ahmed, thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here with you and your audience.
Liberal Jew in this country, it was not. It was complicated, and Martin Luther King was always advised by not touching on the Palestinian questions and stay away from turning civil rights to human rights. And I think also Black Lives Movement now retracted or backpedal their initial statement of criticize what's happening in Palestine as a genocide. Now that and what you guys doing and how this form and what's the reaction in the last week or so?
Briefly, once I became awoke, so to open my eyes up, and I could see that they're not the animals or the demons that I thought them to be. And I'll
Uh,
tell you, since all of this time, the Palestinian people, above all the others, no slight against the Egyptians or the Syrians or whoever, but the Palestinian people, I think because of what they've had to go through,
yeah.
they are heads and shoulders above the rest. They are the most intelligent people, generous people. Plus, I just can't say enough. And the most beautiful people. And by the way, I married a Palestinian
You do. You
woman.
are.
Yes, yes.
Wow, my
I
goodness.
fell so much in love with the Palestinian people that I married them and brought them in and became their family.
Oh, those Americans. You mean you can support a cause without merit. You know that, right? You have that right.
Yeah,
No, I
right.
understand.